Port Charles woke under a slate-gray sky, the kind that pressed down on the harbor and made secrets feel heavier than usual. Jason Morgan stood on the pier outside the Corinthos coffee warehouse, hands in his jacket pockets, eyes scanning the water. The town had been buzzing for days, whispers of shifting alliances, missing shipments, and a power vacuum no one wanted to name out loud. Jason didn't need the gossip, he could feel it. Chaos always had a sound, and today it hummed like a live wire. Inside the warehouse, Sonny Corinthos' lieutenants argued in low, heated tones. Jason stepped through the door, and the noise fell away. It wasn't fear exactly, it was trust sharpened by experience. Jason didn't raise his voice or pound his fist. He didn't need to. When he spoke, people listened because he said only what mattered. "We're done reacting," Jason said, meeting each pair of eyes in turn. "We set the pace now." A map lay on the table, dotted with routes that threaded Port Charles like veins. Someone had been siphoning shipments, testing boundaries, waiting for a stumble. Jason traced a line with his finger, stopping near the docks. "They think we won't notice small losses. They think we'll fight among ourselves." His jaw tightened. "They're wrong." Jason assigned roles with quiet precision. No threats, no bravado, just clarity. He sent one team to confirm rumors, another to protect the people who couldn't protect themselves. "No collateral damage," he added. "This is about control, not chaos." Across town, Carly paced the floor of the Metro Court lobby, phone pressed to her ear. She didn't need Jason to tell her things were shifting. She'd built her life on reading storms before they broke. When Jason arrived, she searched his face for answers. He gave her a nod, small, steady. "I've got it handled," he said. She studied him, seeing the weight he carried and the resolve beneath it. "You always do," she replied, softer than she meant to be. At General Hospital, the beeping monitors and antiseptic air offered a different kind of battlefield. Elizabeth Weber paused at the nurse's station as Jason approached. Their history lingered between them, unspoken but never gone. "I heard things are tense," she said carefully. "They won't touch the hospital. Not on my watch." Elizabeth searched his eyes, recognizing the promise for what it was. "Thank you." As the day wore on, pieces slid into place. Jason moved through Port Charles like a shadow, visible only when necessary. He met with old contacts who owed him favors and new faces who needed guidance. He listened more than he spoke, letting people reveal themselves. By nightfall, he knew who was bluffing and who was dangerous. The confrontation came not with a bang, but with a silence. At the docks, under flickering lights, Jason faced the man who thought he could carve out a kingdom by nicking the edges of someone else's. The air smelled of salt and oil. Waves slapped against the pylons like an impatient clock. "You're out of your depth," the man sneered. Jason didn't flinch. "You mistook restraint for weakness." There was no fight, no spectacle. Jason laid out the truth with surgical calm. The routes that had been compromised, the names that had been whispered, the protections that were now gone. He offered a choice: leave town quietly or answer for every line crossed. The man laughed once, then stopped when he realized Jason wasn't bluffing. Control wasn't about force, it was about certainty, and Jason had it in spades. By dawn, Port Charles exhaled. The streets felt lighter. The warehouse returned to its steady rhythm. At the Corinthos penthouse, Sonny listened as Jason reported in, concise as ever. "You took charge," Sonny said, a note of pride threading his voice. "I did what needed to be done," Jason replied. Later, Jason stood alone on the Quartermain grounds, watching sunlight break through the trees. For a moment, the noise faded. The deals, the danger, the expectations. He thought about the lines he walked every day and the people those lines protected. Control wasn't power for its own sake, it was responsibility. A message buzzed on his phone, confirmation that the last loose end had been tied. Jason slipped the phone back into his pocket and breathed out. Port Charles would never be free of storms, but today it was safe. As he headed back towards the town that shaped him, Jason knew one thing for certain. When the balance tipped, he would step forward, not for glory, not for control alone, but for the people who counted on him to stand steady when everything else threatened to fall.